Hey, you. Yeah, you. Topics for the 22 of May 22. So today's topic of discussion, welcome back to the third day, the third video. If you have not yet watched the second or the first video, they're in the channel. Go do yourself a favor and watch those, and do me a favor, obviously. I really appreciate a good view, a good lurk, a good thumbs up, a good comment. So make sure you're doing that. On today's topics, we have just one topic because it's a little bit of a long one. It's one that I really want to kind of give a little bit more attention to, because I don't want to be clipped out or people to not really understand where I'm coming from, because this is a bit of a hot take. It is woke versus the anti-woke crowd. So let me define what woke is and what anti-woke is. So the woke crowd is the people that just woke up and is seeing the world in a different light, and people are ready to stand up for what they believe in, and they want to interject their feelings and like feminism. You could throw feminism in there. You can throw DEI stuff in there, inclusion, everything, you know, super. Everybody feels the need to include a gay character, a black character, a Asian character, a minority in everything, everywhere. We're going to mostly speak about video games in this discussion. So this is what the woke crowd is, right? Where they're campaigning for, you know, a minority. They're campaigning for LGBTQ to be introduced everywhere, left, right, and center. And the way I'm presenting it might sound a little bit, I know that it might get your little blood boiling, but I'm just trying to give a description of what woke is on our space. The gaming space. It might be different for movies, music. It might be different from platform to platform, but this is woke as I know it to be. If there is a correction to it, leave it in the comments below. I'm sure to ignore it. So this is what I believe to be woke, right? People that are, this is the woke. The anti-woke is people who are challenging the woke and saying we don't need another trans character in Dragon Age. We don't need a non-binary person. We don't need a black character in everything. We don't need a little Mexican everywhere. You know, these are the people that are challenging the woke people. But there's extreme points to everything. So I don't really fall in any of these crowds. I'm not extreme woke, and I'm definitely not extreme anti-woke. In everything, I truly believe that everything in life works better with a great logic and balance. Most importantly, I think both sides have lost sight of the real goal here, which is fun and positivity and something that great that can come out of people trying to deliver the best product so we consumers can have the best experience. And I think both sides have lost sight of that point. The woke people and the anti-woke people both have extremes that I think have lost sight of what we really want and what really benefits us as a consumer. I personally have don't agree with the super woke. I don't agree with the super woke. And I don't agree with the super anti-woke. Okay, so I'll give you an extreme points to both of these, and I would try to best convey my point here. So an extreme case of wokeness is the latest example I can think of is in our video games, Dragon Age, Valguard. I believe they have several topics in there for non-binary and maybe a transgender included in the game. You know, and this is from my point of view, and you guys might not agree with me, and that's fine. I think what makes us adults is that we can find disagreements in each other and still able to get along. So at least from my perspective, you're never going to be important enough for me to hate you and your opinion. We might disagree, but I don't have that time to go on and spread negativity about you and your opinions. You have yours, I have mine. So let me set this one up for Dragon Age Veilguard. They have an inclusion of extreme woke examples. Like they even have a segment in the game where they're trying to teach the audience about what non-binary is. Bro, when I started playing games as a kid, I didn't really think about what was between the turtle that I was trying to kill, or what the turtle was attracted to. I was playing a little Italian plumber trying to save a princess. And then we evolved and we gotten into stories like Tomb Raider, where I'm not really thinking about what is her preference sexually or anything like that. I'm climbing walls and I'm trying to save trying to collect some relics, right? That's as far as like I grew up watching and playing video games. And then I just want the satisfaction of it feel good in my hand to punch a turtle or to climb a rock. I wanted that feedback from a controller or from a mouse keyboard that feels really good. It feels authentic. It feels fun, not contrived, added for some weird journalistic or some weird teaching lesson moment for me to learn about non-binary. Like, it feels forced on a consumer often enough. Now, if they had non-binary characters, you don't need for them to explain what a non-binary is or what an LGBTQ person is. You don't need that explained. I think in today's time, we already know what is gay, what is trans, what is this. We already know because this is all around us. We don't need a segment educating us on what is what. You know, I don't necessarily have a problem that they're adding in quotations, woke stuff in video games, as long as it's incorporated in a way where it doesn't feel like it's a lesson, like I'm being educated on something, because I'm trying to play a video game. You know, I didn't sign up for lectures. I don't want to sound like I just went to church and I'm trying to learn about religion. I want to play a video game first and foremost. And when it starts to feel like adding it just for the sake of adding it to try to meet a demand, a quota or something, it just feels forced. It doesn't make me want to even support that product. Again, I know that this is really trigger warning for some people, and they're going to really take me out of context and say, oh my God, I hate this sort of whatever. I don't. I really don't. I'm just trying to give you my best example of things that I think is really well implemented versus not well implemented. I'll give you a good implementation of LGBTQ and options. Fable 1, you can be gay and you can marry a guy and you can give that guy an STD, and then you can marry a lady and kill your children eventually. Actually, I don't really remember that one that much, but you could do that in Fable, and nobody complained. It was fun. People were doing everything. People were catching 100 STDs, and nobody was complaining about anything. And maybe there was a small little complaint here and there, but it wasn't to where we are right now. You were able to play Fable and not really think about something being shoved down your throat. You know, you had the option as a gamer to invest where you wanted to invest your time. It was incorporated in a good way where it was fun, and you can still not feel like you just entered like a sermon or a lecture. So these are 2 examples of things where I think it's good implementation of options and variety and different people in the world. Without it feeling like it's contrived, like it is being lectured to you. And then, hold up. And because we have had this pushed so far and the narrative has been so strong with the woke, then comes the rising of the anti-woke, which I also don't agree with, you know? And I think there's a couple of big streamers, big content creators that have really propelled this narrative. And I said this earlier, I don't know if this is the right wording, but they've weaponized stupid people. Because now, whenever there is a black character, whenever there is a female lead character, whenever there's a woman that's not very attractive, you know what these stupid people that were weaponized by these big content creators do? Is they start yelling at the top of their lungs, DEI, I will not support this. Now, before you people start saying that I'm reaching and nobody does that, you're wrong. I'll give you a close example. Ciri from The Witcher 4. When they released that trailer, the amount of people that were complaining because she was not clean and she didn't have a smooth jawline like your pretty girl from the first Descendant, or like Stellar Blade, she didn't have her nipples out there. There was a lot of uproar because she was a rough girl that didn't necessarily fit the, in quotations, beauty standards that the anti-woke want in their games. So she and Ciri in The Witcher was automatically deemed flop, failure, because it didn't have a strong, sexy female lead. And obviously, there was other issues with there too. With the women cannot be witchers. So it's lore inaccurate, blah, 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 blah. But let's not write off the other complaints as well. There were complaints about her look, aesthetically. People were not happy of her strong jawline. There were many people clipping and making fun of the way she looked. People saying what happened? She looks way older, you know? So this is the anti-woke crowd and the far extremes of both examples, woke versus anti-woke. In today's time is really hard for gamers to meet somewhere in the middle. It's really hard. You have the people who are campaigning for like super far woke stuff, and then you have people that are challenging that by being super ridiculous and being so far anti-woke. It's really a shame. And I don't want to put any blame on any like content creator specifically, but it's a movement that has happened. Gamers have started to voice their opinions. And you know what? If you're a consumer, you should be able to voice your opinion of what you want. But sometimes, and this is going to sound a little bit crazy, I don't think everybody deserves their opinions to be heard, especially when they're so fucking stupid. And you might think that that might be the case with me. And hey, fair enough. If you don't like me yapping and talking and you think my opinion is stupid, hey, I'm not going to argue with that. But I think I'm at least better than when people are saying that Ciri's chin is too strong, therefore the game is going to flop. You haven't played it. You haven't seen the gameplay. You haven't read the story. You haven't done nothing. And your basis and your judgment comes from a strong chin. Bro, give me a break. I think that's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous from both narratives. And I'm gonna mention one person here, Asmongold. I know that Asmongold is a bit of a hot take. He's a very popular streamer, and there are people who really like Asmongold, myself included. I really enjoy Asmongold. I don't want to say I'm a huge fan, but I'm a fan. I don't put anybody on a pedestal, but I am a fan of Asmon. Asmon is one of those people that have really campaigned, has been the voice of gamers. And I think Asmongold has really good takes when it comes to this woke versus anti-woke stuff. I don't agree with his delivery, and I think he could do a better job at explaining in more detail what he means, because I do think he is one who has weaponized stupid people. And I'm not blaming him. I don't blame him for having stupid fans. It's not his fault. But with great power comes great responsibility. And I do think if Asmon says, I am tired of these nasty woke DEI, this, and this. The thousands of stupid people that watch him just light a little bulb over their head and they're like, oh, my king, stupid, DEI, I hate women. Oh yeah, I hate, yeah, because my king gave me the permission. I'm going to go and blast in their Steam reviews. I'm going to blast everywhere, but they're blasting without really thinking because they're stupid. You know, like Asmund doesn't really have a problem with the Witcher 4 trailer. In fact, he really thought it was cool looking. Not a problem with Ciri because he is smart. He's a very smart, logical thinker, but the fans that follow him, a lot of them are not really there. They're just following a cult. They're like very stupid people and they don't see the message the way he does. And then they start blasting off at Ciri and why she is ugly and why the game will flop. So again, not that it's necessarily his fault, but if I was in his shoes, and this sounds really bad, and I don't like the way this is sounding, I don't like telling people how they should run their shit, but if I had that voice, I would do my due diligence to say, hey, not everything is DEI, and not everything is woke. Lara Croft with her big old boobies or her little shorts climbing a rock wasn't DEI. You know, Lara Croft back in the day wasn't DEI. A little plumber, Italian plumber for saving a princess wasn't woke. So not everything is like this. You know, I would do my due diligence to be a bit more thorough with my approach on things because I know the influence that I do have on people. And, you know, that's just me though. And that's basically how I feel about the anti-woke versus woke. Again, I'm not really trying to clown on him or anybody. It's not really their fault. It's like blaming Lady Gaga for her having crazy fans. It's not really her fault. You know, it's not really her fault. It's not really his fault. People are going to do stupid things regardless. But if I had a message to deliver, I would deliver a message more. If I knew that I had such power, I would try to do a better job at delivering my message. Yeah. Oh, there was Samus from Metroid as well, you know, in the bodysuit and everything. We've always had strong female leads and stuff like that, and nobody really complained. But now all of a sudden we see one woman and everybody's like saying, what is this woke slop, you know? We have one, it's pretty dumb. We had a Split Fiction, for instance, 2 female leads, and people were clowning on that game and calling that game woke slop. And Split Fiction is one of the best developed games ever. From sound, graphics, storytelling, mechanics, gameplay, Split Fiction is one of the best games. And it's crazy that one of the immediate thoughts about this was that it was woke because it had 2 female leads. That's crazy to me. That is insane. Yeah. I could give you many examples about this woke versus anti-woke topic, but I think this is a good enough segment for this. I'm not necessarily against against woke, and I'm not necessarily against anti-woke. I think both possess real nice challenges for this world, and I think both are crucial and both are needed. It's just how it's implemented and how it's done. And I think a lot of people are missing that point. And this extends beyond video games as well, in movies, in red carpet events, in music, and all forms of media entertainment, even like law enforcement as well, where you have ridiculous standards like, oh, we're not going to be hiring any more white cops because we need to hire more of ethnicities. I don't know, like that doesn't sit well with me, but you know, that's a whole different topic and one can of worms I'm not going to fully dig deep into. But I think we've kind of lost the sight of what really matters, you know? And that's where I'll leave that one. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about the anti-woke versus woke? What do you think about my opinion? If you like it, leave a thumbs up. If you don't, I don't think YouTube does the dislike thing anymore, but yeah, leave a negative comment, something. Hey, I kind of need a little bit of help. How about you help me out? Hit that follow, subscription button, all the good stuff. Yeah, comment and like, possibly, maybe. Please.